Another bit of content that's aimed at singer-songwriters and self-producing artists who are recording their own vocals. The last post I did, which was about gain staging, has had over 2,000 views, lots of likes and comments, so that's great. I'm really pleased about that. Unfortunately, this is another clip where I'm not able to play the sound because it's actually a track I'm working on right now that's unreleased. I'm just going to talk through the sends that I'm using and one amazing plugin that I think is worth getting that I use on all my vocals now. Okay, here we go. Okay, my first send, which is bus number 3, that's going to Valhalla Plate Reverb, which is a fantastic reverb. I'm using a 50 millisecond pre-delay, which gives a bit of space between the dry vocal and the reverb, much better for clarity, and a 3.5 second decay. Bus number 2, which is going to an Echo Boy, which I always use for slapback delay. I love a bit of slapback delay to add energy and texture. The third send I'm using is Stereo Touch by Voxengo, really great free plugin to add width to things. Use it all the time. Bus number 4, which is going to a flanger into a quarter note delay by Replica. It's a Native Instruments plugin. I don't know if I paid for it or got it for free. Vintage digital. I've got it set to about 36% feedback, and it's a dotted eighth note, which is basically doing a kind of nice rhythmic delay. But having the flanger before it just adds a little bit more of a ethereal kind of modulation quality to it. Helps it kind of poke out a little bit more in the mix and a bit more sounds a bit more interesting, basically. And then the final one I've got is a parallel compressor, and I'm using a really fantastic VCA from Softube, which I think they gave away recently. I love Softube plugins. But my secret weapon, which is not really a big secret, is by Waves. It's called Silk Vocal. But this is a fantastic plugin. I recommend anyone get this. I'm not sponsored by Waves or anything like that. But if you want to have a very quick result, it does amazing dynamic EQ. It has a compressor built in, which is a bit like the Aardvox. But you can really dial it in to control the S's on the high end, like a de-esser, control the mid frequencies. And I'm going to mute the vocal, but I'm going to play back so you can see what it's doing. If you can see this, it's actually dynamically controlling the low end, which I've set. It dynamically controls the mid frequencies, and it also controls the highs. There's a plugin called Soothe, which this is very much kind of copying. I've now saved this preset for my client so I can use it in other sessions. So this is the particular set of send effects that I'm using for this particular song, which is a kind of indie ballad and with a bit of a kind of widescreen cinematic kind of vibe to it. So that's why I've gone for a plate reverb, lovely kind of big wide plate, and I'm using a tiny bit of modulation just to kind of give it a little sense of space and movement that's a little bit out of the ordinary. But the actual vocal itself is really uncompressed and really natural, so it's a good combination of like natural performance with all the detail coming out, but then with these extra layers of processing and things that just subtly help it blend with the track. I can't wait for it to come out. Just finished the mixing on it. I'm going to send it to the client today for their feedback, and then as soon as it's come out, obviously I'll share it on social media. Cool, hope that's useful. Like and follow. I should probably add that I've had no Grammy Awards or nominations, and I've never had a big massive #1 global hit, so maybe you should think twice about taking any advice from me, really. I don't know. What do you think?